Welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how I set up my daily task list of everything I need to accomplish for the day, how it gets put into my calendar, and what happens if I miss or if something's just not important. So this is based off of Ryder Carroll's bullet journal method. What I found in my own research is that when I've looked up like bullet journal methods on Instagram or Pinterest or wherever, what happens is that it often gives like the fancy displays and all the illustrations, which are all really cool, but it never really showed how to actually do the bullet journal method. And so once I found Ryder Carroll and his information on how to do the bullet journal method, it was really, really helpful and got me organized, and I feel like I'm not missing things, which is always the goal, is to not miss things. When your brain is going a million miles an hour, you have people you're responsible for, if you have a spouse, if you have kids, or if your own life, you just can't get organized. This is how I get organized. And I like to use pen and paper. I don't use digital. I try digital, but I always go back to pen and paper. It's the least restrictive for me, and it just makes things easier. I might capture something inside of digital. I might throw it into my phone, but eventually makes it to paper. And the bullet journal method is very, very simple. It's three things. There's not much you have to do, but we'll set up for today. And today is May 30th, I want to say. Yeah, so on this video I'm making, it's May 30th. And so I'm going to figure out all the stuff I need to do today. So the first thing you do is you just write the day at the top of the page. So nothing really fancy or special. You can write May 30th, you can write the day, however you want to write it. I just write the month and two-digit month, two-digit day, keep it a buck, and also write down what day it is, which today is Saturday. And then I'll show you a couple other things that I might do as well. So the first thing you want to understand in the bullet journal method is three different things. So the first one you want to understand is that a bullet point means an action step, something that you have to do. So for today, I need to make coffee. I need to buy deodorant. I may need to, well, not may need to, I definitely need to clean out car trunk because it is a mess, okay? So bullet points equal action steps. The next thing you want to know is that if it's a dash, that means it's some sort of note. So a dash is a note, something of importance that you want to remember. In another video I did, I wrote down that my wife's birthday is on the 10th when it's really on the 11th. So as an example, I might write, remember wife birthday on 11th, not 10th. So there you go. So a note means something you should be able to see it and know like, oh, this is something memorable that happened that you want to remember. So a dash is a note. And the last thing that Ryder Carroll talks about in his video is that he'll say a circle represents, I want to say, some sort of event. The way I've changed that is a circle means it is somewhere, so it could be an event, somewhere I need to be. So why I changed it, because when I started using this during COVID times and lockdown times and all those things, man, how we changed life and how we had to adjust. But anyways, so there were a lot of stuff that was like meetings that I had. So it was like, it was an action step, but it was also an event, and I didn't know where to put it. But like, also, I didn't, like, even if it was a meeting, but I could be at the house, is that an event or is that a task, right? So I just changed it so to somewhere I need to be. So if I need to go if I need to go be at a meeting and it is like at my kid's school, then I'll put it as a circle and then meeting at kid's school. Or if it's an online meeting and I could be at home, then I'll put a bullet point and write kids meeting. It's just an action step I have to do, but it's not somewhere I physically have to be. So that's how I adjusted this a little bit, because it was helpful for me and my brain to realize, okay, yeah, oh, that's something actually important. You need to be somewhere. So as an example to this, we're having a cookout at this guy's house from our church. And so that is somewhere I need to be. Let's talk about multi-action steps. So in daily chores, I typically do 3 things: wash dishes, 1 load of laundry, and I will make my bed. How this works: when you're crossing things off your action list, okay, there's a couple things you'll want to note. Okay, if I put in, so laundry is 2 steps, right? It's washing then drying. So I've already washed them, so it gets crossed through. So once they're dry, I will cross out like that to note that it is done. Make my bed, same thing. Cross it out once it's done. Wash dishes, cross it out when it's done. And then for daily chores, what I can do is I can put a line through it to signal that it has started, but it's just not done. So that's what the single line through is, just it started, but it's just not done. Okay. Other things that are to note within this is, so if you have a task and let's say it's something that listed but not done, like on that day, like let's say I never actually did the dishes. So something that's listed but not done. So when I set up my next day, 05/31, it's now Sunday, I go back through my list and I look to see if there are any open dots. Like, let's just pretend these are all coffee. Like, I already made coffee this morning. Maybe I didn't make it to Target. I couldn't buy deodorant or whatever. I didn't actually get to clean up the car trunk. So then what I do is I put a dot there. I'll say clean out car trunk, because it's something I need to do. And then on the previous day, I go back and I put an arrow pointing that way. When the arrow points that way, that means it's going to the next day. If the arrow goes the opposite way, like that, that means it needs planned. And so you go in. So when is a good day that I can buy deodorant? Oh, you know what? I can buy deodorant on Monday because I'm actually off on Monday. And then it will go in there and I can buy it. And I can put it there for just to remember to buy deodorant. Now, if something's important that you want to remember, you can do it with a star. I always use just an exclamation point to signal to me that that's something that is really important that I need to do. And then let's say I make my bed, but I never actually did it, so it gets pushed. So I'm gonna make my bed the next day, but I never do it, so it gets pushed. So I save it for the next day, and I put make my bed. At this point, I've now written it 3 times, and I gotta ask myself, is it really that important? And if making my bed is not important, then it just gets crossed off. And it's just like, whatever. It's actually something I don't need to do. And so we are just done with it. But that is how I set up my daily action plan journal. Again, this is adapted from Ryder Carroll and his bullet journal method, which was really, really helpful to get there. And so hopefully if you try this method out, you'll be able to have your action steps, all the stuff you need to do, your notes, all the things you want to remember, and your last one, the circle, which is going to be all the events or places you need to be. That is a circle. So there you go. Hopefully this was helpful. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.